My craziest story was when I had my second ever girlfriend. And it was nice. She was like a normal person, She had a loving family, her dad didn't beat her or fucking like leave her with the milk. And to bond with her, I was using like one of my eight personalities to like kind of psychotic, but to like optimize the relationship or whatever, right? So it was cool and all, and around this time, I was starting to get into a little bit of self improvement. I was in the gym, I was starting to exercise, I was starting to look a little bit better, I was trying skincare, and I was looking pretty good, and all seemed well. Except for when I was at home. I never wanted to be there because my dad would always yell at me, my mom, my brother, and so I spent time with that girl at the gym, at school studying, but it was still it was still misery because I still had to I still had to come home at the end of most days. I still had to come home to the daily backhanded comments my dad would always give to everyone. I still had to come home to the weekly fights. I still had to realize I had to accept the fact that because I was out of the house most of the time, my dad would always now just pick on whoever's left in the house, which was usually my mom. Every day I still had to come to the realization that, man, I'm still broke and I can't free my mom from this misery. And I still had to deal with those eight personalities that I had. And that shit sucks, bro. Like, where you have such a good time for just a few moments, but then you realize that it's not gonna last and you have to go back to being miserable at the end of every day. Life's gonna go back to being sad if I stay where I am. And that ruined me. It ruined me. It broke me to the point where when I was coming home from school, when I was coming home from the gym, and I was waiting for my train, it wasn't even it wasn't even me. It was just a voice in my head, bro, and it told me that it told me to jump in front of the train when it comes. It told me that it almost convinced me. It told me that why would I take the train that would take me back to my house of misery when I can just end it here? When I can just end the suffering of like having to constantly realize that my mom is suffering because I'm not at home. I'm not in front of her to take the blow from my dad. Oh my god. I'm about to cry. The voice told me that I was fake with like my eight personalities, and that girl that I loved, I was fake to her, and I should just end it because I'm not worthy of her. And I almost did. But I guess what saved me was like the idea that I can do something more. That there was something more in me. And there is. Like I felt it, but I didn't know how to activate it. Oh my god. I'm literally about to cry. But it was just an idea, a feeling that I could be something greater than just being miserable all the time. I felt that I could, but I didn't know how. I think I just needed like a method or plan to reinforce that idea that I was something greater instead of being miserable and dying at the age of 14. And from there, it was always just one step forward and two steps back. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove myself, prove that idea that I had something greater in me. So I went all out 100%. I went all out on my business, 100% on fitness, 100% on studying, 100% on school, 100% on everything. But then a it turned into a vicious cycle where I would I would go all out, then I would wake up the next morning tired as fuck. I would be burnt out. I would waste the whole day. And then at the end of the day, when I realized, shit, man, I wasted my whole day, I would go to sleep and then wake up the next day going again on 100% output, just for me to burn out and repeat the cycle. And I guess here's where most people would say, like, oh, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You're as good as you are. But, like, if I didn't even remotely prove that I can be 100%, like, I can work super hard, I probably would have been dead if I couldn't prove that. So, yeah, proving that idea was like essential, but I honestly just needed a plan where, like a method, a plan where I wouldn't be burning out all the time. I literally had this up and down like cycle since October of 2023. It was bad. I needed a plan where I needed a plan that like didn't involve me failing all the time. Because imagine how much that actually hurt me. Like I was just starting to like lock in. I was just starting to go 100% output. I was just starting to go all out. I was just starting to actually do something with my shitty ass life. I was just starting to like do actions that could change my life. And then the very next day I would be burnt out and I would waste the whole day on like Valorant or something. At that point, like, am I even worthy? Is that idea that I had just false? And it took me a while, you know. It took me like months, probably years to like, no, not years because October of 2023. It took me months to like finally optimize my schedule where I wouldn't be feeling like a constant failure. And the way I did that was I focused on on four key things and I adopted a new mindset. Should I tell you that? Yeah, sure. I'm probably making a full guide on this. I don't know. It depends on like my fucking shitty ass upload schedule. But I'll give you the gist of it, right? The reason you and me keep snapping back, keep failing, keep falling off, keep being miserable as fuck is because we need to stack up wins to prove to ourselves that we are capable, that we are something that can achieve greater. Because this is what they tell us like online and in school, right? They tell us that like if you do something half-assed, whether that's like 50% effort, 70% effort, 80% effort, it's still bad. They tell us that if we don't get something that's 90% effort or above, we've basically failed. We need to get 100% effort. We need to put 100% effort in order to have a chance at winning at life. Imagine telling that to someone who's like suicidal as shit. Imagine telling them, you need to get 100 on this exam, and if you don't, your career is over. You failed. You need to go 100% all out on fitness, and if you don't, you'll stay fat forever. You need to go 100% on business. You need to work 14 hours a day, and if you don't, you're not gonna make it. Imagine telling that to someone who's lost all hope. They won't even try. They'll just give up and fucking die. But what if you do the simplest, the smallest things, the easiest things to build up wins? What if you can literally just meditate for 1 second, like that, and you've meditated for the day? You've done like mental health treatment for today. What if you can do one push-up? Like, I'm not doing a push-up. Oh my god, I have to now. Now that I said it, bro. I have to now that I said it. What if you were fat before and you did one push-up and that was your exercise for the day? 1 second is so doable that like even on your worst days where you smoked, you relapsed, you ate shit food, you played you played video games for 14 hours, you scrolled on Instagram, you like binge watched like 20 episodes of an anime. What if, despite all of that failure, at the end of the day, before you go to sleep, oh my god, I think I woke up my mom. Oh no, that's my dad. Okay. You can still, before you go to sleep, you can still get up, do one push up, do one breath, and then go back to sleep. And then what would have been a 0 at that day is a 0.01. And then it slowly becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it explodes like an exponential graph. And then your depression is cured. Chat. My abusive dad is now awake. I might be cooked. And it depends on how you do this, right? You can have like your ego stop you and tell you that 1 second isn't gonna make a big difference in my life. Well, I'll tell you what, bro. If your ego is telling you that, are you gonna listen to the same voice that told you to jump in front of that train? Are you? No, right? Exactly. So get up and do that single push-up before you go to sleep. And that teeny tiny progress is gonna slowly get bigger until it starts getting bigger and bigger and explodes. And if you want the same thing, if right now you're like actually struggling to get out of bed, struggling to go to school, you get demon thoughts about like shooting up your whole fucking school, and you feel like you were destined for something greater, like, bro, DM me. I literally went through so much like misery and failure to optimize this method. And I already see that on the 5th day, like my boy Kevin out here is already growing.
I feel good.
Do you actually feel good, bro? Come on, man. You took this day by storm, bro.
I feel good.
He's already winning. So if you want that, bro, DM me on Discord. I'll literally put you on and pull you up on my life, bro. So DM me on Discord if you want to get this shit done and over with. In 14 days, I guarantee you, bro. DM me, it'll be so worth it.